JLR investigates Summer Wells case. This Saturday will be 3 years since Summer Wells went missing and she has still not been found. Where is Summer Wells? We've been covering Summer Wells extensively on JLR Investigates. And guess what, folks? These people just spoke to the media. And I want to share with you a news clip. Don's blaming people again. Don is saying that his children are kidnapped and he's being tortured and, they're being persecuted and they're being blamed. It's a typical Don Wells behavior. So I'm going to play this clip for you right here. Check it out. All right, everyone, listen to this nonsense right here.
3 years since the disappearance of then 5-year-old Summer Wells from her Hawkins County home.
The night she was reported missing, authorities said Summer was last seen walking from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community. Hours later, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation would issue an endangered child alert for her. That would later turn into an Amber Alert.
To this day, law enforcement still has not located Summer Wells and are not any closer to finding her. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniels spoke with Summer's parents.
We have pushed investigators for months to learn about new details or updates in this case. What we do know is that her family continues their search to bring Summer home. I spoke with both Don and Candus Wells in Kingsport at a place with deep meaning to Summer's disappearance. Borden Park is anything but quiet this time of year. But 3 years ago, it was filled almost weekly with people praying for Summer Wells.
I see all these families, with their kids and how much they enjoy them and stuff, and we were stripped away from all our kids. All our kids have been kidnapped from us by DCS, and we're not sure about Summer, but we know about where our boys are at.
While the prayer vigils are now few and far between, Don and Candus Wells haven't stopped praying that their daughter Summer will be found.
We have hope. Always, but there's not much hope in this world. It's like, we have to trust God that there's hope in eternal life in heaven.
Summer was reported missing on June the 15th of 2021.
We know that she was taken off her property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area if she was somewhere in the area. But who's responsible for her?
You!
We don't know.
I asked Don and Candus when was the last time they heard from investigators.
We haven't lately at all. It's been a while, over a year, I think. I haven't talked to any law enforcement at all. I tried to talk to the FBI agent about it, but that didn't go anywhere.
Don says he feels that he and his wife Candus were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us, they belittled us, and done everything they could amidst all the chaos, and then the CPS was there doing the same thing.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Don spoke about a Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids loaded guns to play with, and so they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just close cases, so it's really odd and mystifying why they closed the case June 14th, and then 24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candus, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to try, but her emotions are just too much.
The last update in the Summer Wells case from law enforcement was an age-progressed photo released in June of last year. This image was released by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. If you have any information about the whereabouts of Summer Wells, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That number is right there on your screen.
Don Wells, still lying, still deflecting, still blaming people, never accepts responsibility. He is the prime suspect in the disappearance of Summer Moon Wells. Don knows clearly where Summer is. Law enforcement won't talk to them because they lawyered up and they're suspects. And the detective, Pruitt, has already said about a year after Summer went missing, or 2 years, the 1 2-year anniversary, we're at 3 now on Saturday. He said, Don and Candus Wells know my number and know where to find me if they ever want to talk. He name dropped them. And Don, Don has an extensive criminal history. We've talked about Don Wells extensively on JLR Investigates. Where was Don Wells? Where was he the afternoon of June 15th, 2021? Don Wells, man, he looks like he's been drinking. He looks like he's been, I don't know, man. What's going on with the haircut? What's going on with the long hair? And Candus, she goes on YouTube. Very, very sad. If Summer Wells is found, we know for a fact Summer Wells will never go to the home of Don Wells or go to the home of Candus Wells ever again. But Summer's out there, and Don Wells and Candus too, knows clearly what happened with Summer Wells. Praying for Summer Wells. 3 years. Maybe, just maybe, folks, law enforcement might counter what Don says. Do you believe the boys were kidnapped? No. That's failure on their part to provide 3 boys, their 3 boys were taken away, with an adequate home. The allegations flying back and forth all over the place about Don and Candus, the mistreatment of children. It was the correct call. And most people will agree. I mean, there's not really many people out there that will defend or go to bat for Don and Candus Wells. Don Wells was arrested. The guy I just showed you, and there are a lot of people on this channel might not be familiar with this case. But this guy right here, Donald Wells, his own son is a pedophile, right? His own son is a registered offender from Ogden or Utah, somewhere in Utah. He was originally from Arkansas, just like Don Wells. But I want to show you this because Don Wells himself got arrested. He's been in and out of prison for the last 30 years. Criminal arrests all over the place. Utah, Arkansas, Tennessee, Florida. He abused his wife in Florida. He punched and assaulted his first wife, Pamela Wells, in Florida. He was arrested in Arkansas for breaking in a woman's garage and stealing her panties. He got numerous burglaries in the state of Utah. He violated parole multiple times and had to go back to prison. One time when he got paroled in Utah, he fled back to Tennessee. And they had to extradite him back. Long criminal history. Was just in prison a couple years ago. After Summer Wells went missing, that was probably because, law enforcement was trying to put pressure on him or try to keep him detained while they build a case. But I still have confidence in Hawkins County, and I still have confidence in the TBI that they will hold Don Wells and Candus Wells responsible for what happened. Poor Summer Wells never had a chance. Well, it's safe to say that those boys are safe, away from those monsters, those misfits. But I feel sorry for anyone that comes across Don and Candus Wells, because if you come across them, you are looking for trouble, and most likely trouble will find you because they are cursed, and they'll get you involved with something, possibly go to jail. They're no good, bad apples. What's going to happen? I heard they're possibly going to move. Don't know. Don Wells. I heard also, too, out there that Don Wells might be firing off some cease and desist. That's funny. That's comical, right? To shut people up from talking about the case. We are Summer's Army. Let me know what you think. Sub to the channel, hit the notification button. I wish they would have showed those couple seconds that they say that Candus spoke of. Would have been interesting to see how, I'm sure the camera's on, and I don't know. Remember the interviews that she gave before to the media? They were ridiculous. She knows where Summer is, too. Stop lying. Do what's right. And authorities, I hope they come out and say something on the anniversary, around the anniversary, and call them out for their nonsense. Hopefully, maybe, just maybe, they'll be put in handcuffs on June 15th, the third anniversary. Authorities are probably sick and tired of this nonsense and this, chaos that these people have created in Hawkins County for the last 3 years. Enough is enough. Where's Summer Wells? JLR Investigates. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.